Happy New Year, viewers. My name is Ankur, and I am with our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar from Global Vision Migration. We are back, and this is our first live session for 2021. How are you, Saurabh? How are you feeling?
Feeling really good, actually, really excited today as it's a Friday and we received so many positive results today, which we're going to share with our viewers. And just want to let our viewers know as well that I'm a registered migration agent. My migration agent registration number is 1802044. And you can ask us your live questions during this program. We normally used to do this a lot in the last year. So now we are back again for this new 2021 with some positive news about the new recent updates and everything.
Thank you very much. As you all can see, that Saurabh is very, very excited because of some very, very good news, which we are certainly going to share with you once we are going with the session and with the flow. At the moment, the question, which is actually 2 days ago, or I think day before yesterday, we received one of the news, and most of the migration agents and the whole fraternity of migration is actually shocked with regards to the news that 485 visa, the dependents cannot apply as a primary applicant. What is going to be happen? Some people are actually saying it's a fake news. Some people are actually saying that yes, there is some sort of truth in this news. What we need to do is to understand the process and who's going to guide us. That is the most important thing. So a registered migration agent can guide you through the process with the positivity. That is something which is sure, because they are the doctors of migration and they know how to get the news and how to interpret the facts. So we are going with the Saurabh Smar, our registered migration agent, who can give us the update on subclass 485 visa. Saurabh, how are you? This 485 visa update, which is actually shocked most of the people, those who were actually trying to do some sort of arrangements, like getting their wives on the main as a main applicant, and then or they are going as a dependent. What your views with regards to that change? Because we are getting the news that people are saying is a fake news. We are getting the news that people are actually saying that is truth. So what's your views on this 485 update?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, we just want to let everyone know that as well, that this is the purpose of our program is actually only for education purpose only. And if you want to discuss your own circumstances, make sure you do consult a professional registered migration agent who can actually assist you, with your migration inquiries, etc. When it comes to the 485 updates recently, so as you know that from 21st of January 2021, there was a recent updates where person who actually studied in a regional designated area during their studies before 485 and then during their 485 as well, that they were actually living in the designated area as well during the last 2 years on their 485. So those people are actually eligible to apply for another 485 visa. So how does that works is, say for example, for the sake of argument, let's say our client John, he studied in Adelaide in South Australia. He studied master in information technology from a University of South Australia. South Australia whole is regional, and then during his 485 visa, he stayed in South Australia as well. That means that right now, from 21st of January, he's actually eligible to apply for another 485 visa because he already stayed and lived and worked in regional designated area. So that is one thing. So, and because after these two, he would already have two 485 visas. First, he got it himself. Second, he got it as an extension. So now, if he marries someone and his partner applies for another 485 visa, then he cannot get a dependent 485. The reason being is because he already held two 485 visas before. So do you got that similarity? So this is what it is. And previously, say for example, if John, he's studying masters in information technology from Melbourne, and then he stays the whole process of his 485 in Melbourne itself. And when his 485 is about to expire, he applies for his wife's master's. So wife studies master's, he works full time, and then when it comes, and then the question is, before his wife was dependent on him on his 485, can his wife get a new primary 485? Yes, she can apply for a new 485, and him being a dependent, being a primary applicant before, can become a dependent now. So they can, unless they have actually used a 485 extension. But in this case, in his case, he has not. So that means he is actually eligible to apply like that.
Okay, so
So that,
technically,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off. Please go on. Yeah.
No, 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 you can proceed.
So technically, the question is like the most of the applicants, those who are actually planning to apply this 485 visa. Say, suppose I'm the applicant. I already consumed my 485 as a main applicant, and now my wife actually going for the masters, right? And then later on, the plan is to get 485 on the basis of her. Because I actually haven't used the second extension, I can still do it, right?
Absolutely. So if you have not used the second extension, that means you have not held two 485 visas before, then yes, you can.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, so you cannot have a third 485 visa. I just want to let our viewers know as well that there are so many, you know, migration agents or other consultants who are saying that this is the end of 485. You cannot apply for another 485. So what I can see is that there has been an issue where there is an issue in their interpretation of the 485 regulations. So that is the thing where people are not sure what's going on, etc. So this is where we actually have break that down into very simpler words for you guys all, so that you can understand what are the new updates are. It's all remains the same the way it was, unless it's the changes would only apply to people who are in Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Canberra, in regional areas, because they are eligible for a second 485. If they apply for second 485 now, and if their wife studies, and then their wife probably can get another one, but they cannot, because then they would be applying for the third 485, which they cannot.
Okay, got it. So that is something which is very tricky, and it's very hard for like even for the migration agents to interpret, because that is the game of interpretation, like how close you are actually going or how accurately. So there is always a distance between a close and accurate. So thank you, Saurabh, for giving us the accurate interpretation of this 485 updates. And I request all my viewers, if they're actually having any sort of questions, they can ask us during this show, during this live session. However, if they've got something which is really very personal, not like in a generic view, then I request you to call us at 0430081804, and Mr. Saurabh Sumar is happy to answer your questions. Thank you, Saurabh, for giving us this update for 485 through the examples. I'm pretty much sure our viewers must have gone through, and they just knew that, yes, that is what it is. Moving forward, you said when we were actually about to start the live session that we've received some sort of good news. So I'm assuming that good news is anyways going to be the visa grants or some sort of a grants for sure. So would you mind if you can please share us those good news, so our viewers at least understand that what is the trend of the market and how to get their permanent residency as soon as they can.
Sweet. And in terms of good news, today we actually received another subclass 186 direct entry nomination approved for a developer programmer. So this was a DIY application where the person themselves applied before, and then they actually had a visa refusal, so nomination refusal, where then they actually came to us, seek professional advice. and then we were actually able to get a result within 7 business days. So not even 7 business days, it would be like 5 business days, because if you don't include Saturday, Sundays. And then today itself, the business got their nomination approved, and the person got their permanent residency granted along with his wife, who is actually overseas right now. So good news for the employer as well as for the employee. The applicant finally can call Australia home by becoming a permanent resident. That's, I can believe, is a dream of many people who are currently in Australia on various different visas. So employer nomination scheme subclass 186 is something that I would recommend our viewers to look into it, because it's really good option for people, because there's around more than 22,000 places available, which is more than 189, 190, or 491. And 186 is not a piece of cake for everyone. So I would request you guys that we have seen DIY refusals where people have tend to apply it themselves, and then they have actually end up getting a refusal. Once they get a refusal, then we have to go to AAT and all those stuff. So it takes a lot of time and effort as well, and resources too. So would say is that if you think you are eligible, you have at least 3 years of full-time work experience, and you have a skill assessment, 6 each, you have an employer willing to sponsor you, then yes, you can apply for subclass 186 direct entry. Another good news that we also received this week is we also received um, 3 subclass 858, which is a global talent visa grants. So those grants came across. The visa was launched in the month of December, and it took less than a month to get the outcome for those clients as well. So there's another happy client, and we did post always our results on our Facebook page as well. So we don't just make things up. Everything is available for people to actually see themselves, that yes, that the results are actually there for everyone to actually evaluate and see.
So evidences are available. Whosoever is actually having any sort of concern, they can go straight on the Facebook page, and then they can check themselves that yes, successes are there, but success needs a lot of effort, and that effort can be done by a registered migration agent. I would say that whenever you're seeking any sort of advice, do go and visit any of the registered migration agent, because they are the one those who can actually give you the good guidance. Moving forward to Victoria round. So it was like, I
Yes.
think today was the date, and Victoria actually must have released the ROI results. So if
Mhm.
you can please give us some sort of a brief about that as well, Saurabh.
So Victoria, actually, as everyone is aware, that today was a Victoria's screening date. So we actually received a 491 nomination invitation, where the person was actually working as a network administrator. Okay, so it's a network administrator, not a computer network system engineer. It's even a role lower than that. So we were able to successfully obtain a 491 nomination invitation, where the person was working in Ballarat from the last 3 months, was living there as well, and we were able to link the work that he's doing, that how critical the kind of work he's doing, etc. And based on that, we were actually now the person will be able to actually apply for this nomination, and 491 is just around the corner for him. Also, a lot of our colleagues, because we are actually part of a very big group where we do have a lot of migration agents who actually we do discuss all our visa grants and nomination outcomes, etc. So few of our colleagues have also received some invitations for 190 and 491s as well. Some of them could be are actually the medical laboratory scientists working in a laboratory setting in Victoria from the last 6 months. Some of them are IT occupations working in a very critical sector in a hospital kind of an environment, or they're working in a really critical sector in the last 6 months as well. So if you are, this is my advice to everyone. If you think you are working in a very critical sector, or you have a skill assessment and you're working in your nominated occupation, then you are actually eligible to apply for Victoria 190 or 491, depending upon where you are working and where you are living. If you are working in a regional area from the last say 3 months, you living and working in regional, then you are eligible for 491. But if you are living and working in metropolitan from the last 6 months, then you are eligible for 190. Even for various nurses occupation as well, if you are a nurse and if you are working in a if you are a nurse, and with the nurses they have actually jot down the nurses only to 4 or 5 occupations. So that's registered nurse aged care, nurse practitioner, and there's a couple more. So registered nurse who have a skill assessment as NEC, they currently not accepting those nominations. Okay, but those nurses with NEC, if they are working in a regional area, or sorry, if they are working in an aged care setting from the last 3 months, my advice for them is to get up and get your new assessment done as soon as possible, because that's exactly what we have done with our clients, and they are pretty much ready to apply for their nominations in the month of February. So there's going to be a round in February, March, April, and May. So if you think that yes, you have that kind of skills, or you might be eligible, feel free to give us a call. We can actually advise you whether you are eligible or not, or what further details or documents you need to be eligible for that. Because as you know, this is only going to happen till May. There's nothing's going to happen in June and then the new financial year, and we don't know what's going to happen next financial year. So maybe this opportunity might strike once or might not even strike again. So if it's there, try to make the best out of it.
Exactly. Grab the opportunity, because there is a saying that opportunity only knocks your door once. Thank
Yeah.
you, Saurabh. Let's move forward with regards to the trend of today's Victoria screening, because uh, most of the occupations, like a lot of applicants, those who were from the trade occupants, and a lot of occupants, those who were actually from the ICT field, from the nursing field, from the engineering fields. So after seeing the current trend, like today's trend from last 3 to 4 hours, what's the future prediction we can actually make for the February onwards rounds till month of May?
Yeah. Also, one more thing. Yesterday there was a 189 department round, skill select invitation round. So with that round, there were registered nurses who actually received invitations who are actually applied for 491 family sponsored stream. So those nurses actually received invitation yesterday. Department will be publishing those results in the next 2 to 3 weeks time. So again, no invitations for IT people. Okay, so people, if you are an IT occupation, I would say seek other options. Do not rely on 189 or 491 family sponsored, because there's only going to be 4 invitation rounds in 1 year now, and first one round is already been done, so you're only left with another 3 rounds. So make sure you make use of that time. Do not waste that time at all. And moving forward, when it comes to February round with Victoria, as we can see that there has been little bit invitations for nominations sent out this morning. Probably those people who have not received invitations in this round, they will be screened again in the next month round. So this is how they have said. And if you they have not invited you, probably you might be get invited next round as well. So that's my advice to those people, and people who have not applied at all. I would say, as you can see, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, software engineer will not be invited because it's not a critical. This will not be invited because this is not a critical." But those people have received invitations in the month of today itself. So as you can see, if you are working in a critical sector kind of an environment where you do have a skill assessment in your nominated occupation, have 6 months of work experience, then yes, you could also be eligible for that.
So chances are always there. It depends like how soon you're going to grab your chance. Reason being because the screening or this session is only up till month of May, and then just prepare your documents. And as soon as you prepare your documents, put your ROI, because this through this you can you never know that you'll be the lucky one who will be receiving the invitation. Right, Saurabh?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the kind of scenario. And what I would say is, I, you know, whether you are a food technologist or you are a life scientist. So these kind of the occupations, critically they have said that even if you are in life scientist in Victoria working in the last 6 months, you could be eligible for 190. So if my advice is to viewers, if you think that you are working in a critical environment, sometimes you are working in a critical sector and people don't know. Ankur, like you remember this client, the one who received our 491, when we talked to
Yeah,
him
yeah.
first, he didn't know that he's working in a critical sector because he was working for an organization which actually providing services to hospitals, clinic, etc. So that is why he was providing services in a critical sector, but indirectly. So
Indirectly, yes,
people,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. So it doesn't have to be directly working in a critical. You could also be working indirectly as well. Um,
It's
so
actually a
that's
game of
the
logical thinking, isn't it? Like you need to understand that how you can actually correlate your circumstances into the right direction. You need to point yourself into the right direction. Then only your doors for permanent residency can open.
absolutely. Now that's well said. That's exactly what it is. If you can actually correlate your work and to show to the wider community that how the kind of work you're doing is quite critical to the economy recovery or towards the health response, then yes, you can get 190 or even 491 as well.
Thank you very much, Saurabh, for all the inside out for the migration updates and the good news and the 485 speculations, which still in the market. And my request to all of our viewers, if they're actually having any sort of concern, they can give us a call at 04300 And now it's time for us to go for the live question and answers.
Yeah. So Neha Kapoor, she's asking that she is actually on a 485 visa as a chef, working in regional area, doing job ready. Um, so Neha, if you are in Victoria's regional area, as you know that if you do have if you are working in a as a chef, say for example, a lot of chefs are required in a critical sector such as aged care. If you're working as a chef in an aged care, and then after you finish your job ready program, you're working still in that aged care, you could be eligible to apply for 491 for Victoria itself, because then you would have at least 3 months of prior living and working in regional area, as long as you are living there as well. Okay, unless if you're working in a restaurant, then also if you can, there is a good chance you can explain how important the kind of task you are doing, etc.
So this is
So
something which
that's
we need to understand, viewers, that yes, how to present the application. To be honest.
absolutely.
The second question is from Dinesh. Any engineers picked up for 491 Victoria this year?
Dinesh, what I can say is that if engineering technologist, a couple of my mates got a engineering technologist 491 invitations, where their clients were actually working in a very critical sector. So if you are an engineering technologist, you're working in a very critical sector up in regional area from the last 3 months or more, you could be eligible for 491 nomination invitation in the next round itself. So yes, people, engineers, IT occupations are actually being picked up for 491.
So, question from Varun Chakri. Thank you, Varun, for posting the question. And the question is, when Queensland gonna open for state nominations?
Varun, if you do remember, Queensland actually last year they advised that they're gonna be doing the similar kind of scenario as Victoria. They're gonna be doing very small rounds as Victoria is doing, so that they won't exhaust all their nomination places at once that they used to do previously. And similar to New South Wales 491, RDA says that they are actually going to open in maybe end of February or maybe early March. So we actually currently not sure exactly when that's going to happen. Is that going to happen in a mid February or maybe early March? So something like that. So watch this space. We certainly, as soon as we get to know about that, we would certainly will do another live session. We would explain which state is open and what are their eligibility and requirements, just to make it quite easier for our clients.
And request you to follow our Facebook page as well, because if you are going to miss the live session, the post is anyways going to be there for the updates.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Question from Ramandeep Bhulla. I applied as a painter 1860 RT as a painter in New South Wales 5 months ago, but I didn't hear anything from immigration. I'm worried a little bit as my occupation is not in PMS PSMO list. How much time it will take for the approval of nomination and visa grant? Thanks.
Thanks, Ramandeep, for your question. Look, when it comes to currently, as you know, that your occupation is not in the PMSOL list, which is the priority skill occupation list. So what does that mean is that the department are only prioritizing those occupations. The rest of the occupations will still be processed, but they will be processed as per the directions by the minister. And when it comes to the time taken to get your nomination approval and visa grant, look, we don't know how long it will take to decide, but I would say it would take at least 6 months in the current scenario, based on the based on what are the number of places available to them as well, because they are only focusing on the PMSL occupations at this point of time. But look, if you have already applied for 1860 RT, and if you are sitting on a bridging visa, you probably get all the permanent residency work rights, such as all the you have full work rights, plus you also have a Medicare benefits, and so all those kind of benefits that a permanent residency person would actually get. So as long as your nomination application is quite strong, business is quite good enough, and then you should be good to go, and you shouldn't have any much of an issue as long as you do meet the other criteria prescribed for the particular visa.
And there is a saying that where there is no news, there is always a good news. So let's just wait for the good news to come, Ramandeep.
Perfect.
The question from Ishu. Hi, sir. This is Elisha. Is there chance for me, Saurabh, sir, as I am a casual employee in data migration team with healthcare, but casual, no superannuation? Can you please suggest something?
So if you are working as a casual employee, so look, the job title doesn't really matter whether you're working as a part-time or full-time. It's just as long as you're working minimum 20 hours per week, and if you're working in a healthcare sector, and if you're in a regional area in the last 3 months, then you also could be eligible for 190 or 491 as well, depending upon where you are working and where you are living. If you are living and working in regional area, then 491 is an option for you as well. And when it comes to when you're applying for an ROI, at that point of time, department wants to see in Victorian department, like the kind of work you're doing, how critical it is towards the health response or towards the economy recovery of Victoria. As long as you can link it, then you should be fine to obtain a successful nomination invitation. So I think
Thank
that's
you.
pretty much all. We covered it all today itself. Anything else from you, Anko?
Well, nothing else seems like, because this is our first 2021 live session. So we are a little lousy. So we will be back from next Friday onwards with full energy. And because we've been busy and yes, trying to yield good results for the company. And as we shared the good results, we are surely going to share good results in coming future as well. And be on the space, follow us on our Facebook page, and join us on live session. Whenever we are coming, just be ready with your questions, because we are happy to answer your questions straight away on there and then. Till next Friday, the only thing which we can say is see you next Friday. Shabak Khair, and enjoy your Friday. And I can see once again the blue label bottle at the back of Saurabh, which I'm actually envy with. From next time onwards, Saurabh, please try to come very closer. Just remove these bottles because it's luring me. And at the moment, I'm on diet.
Oh,
Can't consume
nah,
alcohol.
it's a little too hot here, in Melbourne to have a whiskey today. So anyway, things apart. So yeah, so we are actually assisting a lot of our clients in getting their permanent residency grants already. So far this year itself, we have already assisted more than 10 people get their dream of permanent residency come true. and we are on the track to making this dream of becoming permanent resident for a lot of other clients as well. So I would say is, if you do have any doubts or any questions, just contact us. And so Sadi Nazarli, jobs for teachers, unfortunately, we cannot help you with the job advertisement. Unfortunately, you would actually have to look for jobs on Seek. There's plenty of job opportunities available through Seek, Job Active, Indeed, Jora. You would need to go onto those websites and apply for jobs for teachers, secondary school teachers, primary school, early childhood teachers. There's plenty of job opportunities available, but we are actually a migration consultancy, so we actually cannot assist you with the recruitment. Perhaps you could also contact a lot of recruitment agencies on LinkedIn and other platforms where you can actually get the opportunity to work as a teacher. But most importantly, you would need a registration as well. So those are the things that you would actually need to see before applying for these kind of jobs. I hope it. Sorry for actually missing out your question. And yeah, so if you have any doubts or anything, you can feel free to send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can also contact us through WhatsApp as well on the number provided, which is 04 300 81804. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Ankur. And we will come back again next Friday with all of you, and to bring up more exciting news, some great results, and some updates
Migration
about
tips.
about the recent Australian immigration. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.
See ya.